I really want to help you get Holy Forever down in your voice just so that you feel confident about it, so that you can lead it with power and conviction. I've been singing this song recently a lot at my church and I've been blessed by it. The first thing I would consider is to make sure that you choose the right key for your voice. This song has a relatively large range. It goes from an octave and a fourth. So the verses are rather low and then the choruses go up and stay rather high. For lots of guys, a good key could be B flat or A major. If it's in A major, the lowest note would be an A, the highest note would be a D. So you wanna make sure that when you're in your low register that you can still lead with confidence and power, even though it's gonna be lower, and that's okay. And then as far as the high notes, you wanna make sure that you're not hitting the highest note that you can sing because you're singing lots of those notes over and over. So I would suggest a third below the highest note that you can sing. But then also you don't want to sing too low on the high notes because you want the high notes to sound powerful and high in your voice as well. So kind of find that sweet spot. For lots of female vocalists, F major is a good key because then your lowest note is F, highest note is B flat. There's lots of recordings by different artists in the key of F online. So that's what I would consider first. Make sure you find that right key. Try it a half step higher and lower and just see which one really fits the chorus and then the verse especially, to make sure those two both sound good in your voice. Then what I really suggest you do is sing the melody of the song on a hum. This way it'll really get it nicely locked in your voice and just help you to internalize it. So what I'd suggest is that you find a YouTube karaoke or instrumental track in your key and then hum as you hear it, just making sure that you're always in the center of the pitch as you hum and just that you're singing a nice resonant hum. The other way you could do it is just play simple chords on an instrument, but just make sure that the playing doesn't get in the way of focusing on your voice. So it should sound something like this. You're just doing it humming like this. Whenever you have repeated notes, don't re-articulate them like That's not really the idea. You want to just sustain and kind of slide between the notes so that your voice can really work on connecting as you do this. Make sure that you have a very buzzy humming sound, and then you go kind of slide around, connecting it. That's the first step. What I suggest you do next is open it up and sing on a vowel. Start with an M and then sing on ma, me, mi, mo, or mu. Different vowels will feel different, so just kind of experiment with different vowels. I'm gonna pick ma and sing it on the chorus and show you some stuff. So like this. Ma, ma. As I'm doing this, I'm making sure that it has the same quality as the hum, that it just stays resonant, that it has a clear crystal tone throughout the whole thing. I'm opening my mouth so that I have space, and then I'm making sure that I'm supporting the notes. There's lots of places like ma, to really make sure that you support that high note. Otherwise it's gonna sound ma, and it'll be pressing and tight and not sound good. So make sure that as you're singing on this vowel that you're working on the technique that you can. If you want to know what technique to think about, in the description I have a link to our vocal technique mini course. And that is a great place to start on just working on what technique to be aware of. And then we have a full-on vocal groundwork course, which is really geared towards worship singers. We actually go through a bunch of hymns in the course, and I work through how to sing with breath support, how to sing with resonant tone, how to create enough space, and all these things that are super helpful. So I would recommend that you check that out if that's something that you're interested in, and then you can figure out and apply that to Holy Forever and any other song that you're working on. For this song specifically, I would suggest that the word holy, that you focus on keeping it in the same place in your voice. Because if you don't, watch out what happens. You'll go, oh. See, I'm just singing on a vowel still, but if the lower note, oftentimes it's gonna wanna fall back and go, oh, and you're gonna have a hard time going up. So that's why you wanna slide around and go, oh, and keep it in the same place in your voice. Oh, oh, All right, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring the words back in and try to apply what you've been doing on the vowels and the hums into the words. And the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring out the text, really enunciate clearly, but I'm also thinking about kind of attacking the note rather quickly on the word holy so that my voice can get locked in, and I'm trying to create enough space and open for the word holy. I wanna turn our attention to the verse. With the verse, it's very spoken-like. It's setting the scene. It's giving the story of what's happening. 1,000 generations falling down in worship to sing the song of ages to the Lamb. So when we sing this, even though it's low in your voice, I want you to give a lot of clarity to the words and the diction of it. So it should sound something like this. 1,000 generations falling down in worship. So see, I'm like really chewing the words, giving very clear consonants, and then I'm making sure that the syncopations are accurate. It's going 1,000 generations. And then I'm not doing some other rhythm with my words, like 1,000 generations. No, that's not the rhythm. That sounds too singy. It has to sound very spoken-like. So work that through verse 1 and verse 2. Each one has slightly different syncopations as well, so that you need to really get that in your voice first. And then for the pre-chorus, it's a little bit more sung. There's a little bit longer notes, but you also have to know which syllables to not emphasize too much. In other words, which syllables to kind of throw off. Your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest. So here I'm really working on bringing out those important words like highest, greatest, above. Those words that are significant, I'm making more emphasis on them. And I'm also trying to really attack the note quickly. I'm not going, your name is the highest. Hopefully you're not doing that way. But some people end up swelling into the notes. So it sounds best in the style of contemporary worship music to really kind of attack the words with clarity and just precision. Like, your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest. And notice how I'm letting go of the greatest. That's not going greatest. It's greatest. So throw those final syllables off. What can help is to breathe after the word highest, after greatest, after dominions, and after positions, and then breathe on all the other spots that make sense. And then after you've gotten all these preliminary things down and you're pleased with it, I suggest that you record yourself, listen back, record yourself, listen back. And then if you're relatively happy with it, I suggest that you go and work on polishing things. So the last step is just that. Go and listen to the original recording that you're kind of basing it off of, or ideally listen to 3 or 4 good recordings and notice little nuances and differences that then you can bring into your singing and that can inform how you're gonna sing. I'm gonna point out a couple spots that I've noticed. One would be in verse 2. I've noticed that Chris Tomlin, he changes up the melody a little bit and he goes, we'll sing the song of ages to the Lamb. Normally it would be sing the song of ages to the Lamb. So little things like that, like finding out, hey, this one time I'm gonna switch it up and do something a little different. Another one is in the pre-chorus. Usually it goes, all thrones and dominions. But what can be effective is the very last pre-chorus before that final loud chorus to go up. Chris Tomlin, he goes up and he sings what would have been a harmony part, but he just changes the melody and goes, all thrones and dominions, all powers and positions, your name stands above them all, and the angels cry. Even there, you go, and the angels cry, instead of going, and the angels cry. But because of that, it felt more intense and like there was more energy to it. Another one, that chorus at the very end, instead of going, holy forever, which is normal, he goes, holy forever. So it holds that high note longer. It's just a little bit of a change and it just energizes the song in a little bit of a different way. And it's not really gonna mess people up, because if other people, they just continue to sing the normal melody, it'll still work. But as the lead vocalist, you can find these places to make it your own and to kind of bring extra energy to the song. Another thing that you're doing at this polishing stage is really like singing expressively. Here's where you want to really bring out the diction of the words. You want to make sure that you're emphasizing the significant words, that you're giving strong final consonants and initial consonants, and just really bringing out the text. And finally, like before you actually sing it on a Sunday, like just worship through it. Just sing it in your room and as a praise to the Lord, and just kind of see if you can get out of the details even on your own and just praise the Lord through it. And that is just kind of preparing your heart. Maybe read through the words again, maybe read scripture that goes along with this, read Revelations, and just get your mind thinking about heaven and what it's gonna be like, and just soften your heart so that when you're leading on a Sunday, that's not the first time that you've truly worship through it. Sometimes it's really cool once you get down the melody, once you've gotten it in your voice, to learn a harmony part. And maybe even that way you can help some of your harmony singers, or you can sing that harmony. And it can just be another way to expressively sing your praise to the Lord as you sing a harmony part. So here's a tutorial on a harmony part. May you just lead God's people well. I'll see you in this video over here. God bless.